to identify all legislations that are not included in the 2004 edition of the LFN. That's the legal framework. Yes. And then identify outdated, I think this is probably the most important aspect. Yes. Identify outdated and redundant laws in the current LFN that need repeal. And then the other one is merge laws addressing related matters to eliminate, redundancy. So, and it would appear that the task or the assignment of the team is not as enormous and rigorous as we thought. Yes. It does not imply that this team will go into the spirit of the laws, but rather just superficial.
Yes.
So does it still address the issues that we are
not really superficial. I think this is a first step to many other subsequent steps that will follow. Please permit me to contribute to the previous question as to whether there will be challenges before the National Assembly. Okay. Even though the National Assembly has the constitutional role to pass law, but initiating legislative action is not the sole responsibility of the National Assembly. Even the executive have a role to play in initiating bills before the National Assembly. So I don't see any conflict arising from the executive initiating this law review process. Okay. It is an action plan that will be presented before the National Assembly. So all of the repeals that are to be made, all of the amendments that are to be made, all of those are going to be made by the National Assembly. So it will be the work of the committee is to provide an action plan to the executive, which the executive will now present to the legislature for legislative action. So that covers that question. There might be challenges that will arise, perhaps in respect to the laws that personally affect the interests of the members of the National Assembly. But that's a different thing altogether entirely. But now let me come back to the question you just asked me. There are two aspects of this assignment that I think are being misconceived. You see, this exercise does not affect the provisions of the Constitution.
Yes.
The constitutional amendment is another task entirely, because the Constitution affects all arms of government, all citizens of Nigeria. That task is a task that can be best initiated by the National Assembly. They have initiated several times, but they have not followed it up to a logical conclusion. Now, coming to the present action, the mandate of the committee, as given to it by the Attorney General of the Federation, is to review obsolete laws. Take a journey into all of the laws we have in Nigeria and identify for us the ones that are obsolete so that we repeal them. If they need to be reenacted, we repeal and reenact. But if it's just simply to repeal them, we don't need them in our body of laws anymore, we repeal them. That is one. Two, identify redundant and conflicting laws. There's a law called Koboko law. There's a law called promise and fail law. You promise somebody you want to marry them and you fail. There's a law called promise. I wonder in this age and time.
In our laws?
In our laws. They exist in our laws. We have baby
promise and fail.
Yes. We have baby formula law that you must have certain inscriptions on a baby formula before they're
baby formula.
So this promise and fail law, just give us a little insight without even
and also the Koboko law.
Yes, okay. If a man promises a woman that he's going to marry her and he fails to marry her, under that law there's a penalty for him refusing to marry her.
And it has not. I don't think the awareness for this law.
No. So that's why our body of laws are many. So it's not all of them that
it has not been repealed.
It has not been repealed. Still part of our body of laws.
What about the Koboko law?
The Koboko law is the law that permits corporal punishment in our school and in lieu of imprisonment.
Okay.
That law is inconsistent with the provision of the 1999 Constitution, which protects human dignity. You cannot see because somebody committed a crime or somebody breaks some rules, he should be flogged publicly. That is degrading to human dignity. It is inconsistent with the provision of our Constitution. So you cannot have this kind of. But as I speak to you, that law which is inconsistent with the Constitution is still much a part of our laws. So these are part of the obsolete and redundant laws that this exercise is supposed to identify and bring before the National Assembly for them to repeal some of these laws. The ones that have to be enacted will be enacted. There are calls to merge ICPC and EFCC because they perform almost similar roles. Maybe perhaps this exercise will identify an issue like that. Okay, ICPC and EFCC, because they perform similar roles, why don't we have a uniform law that will harmonize these two laws into one and merge these two institutions into one, because they perform similar tasks. So those are the primary functions this committee was inaugurated to perform. The task of law review, as Professor Ezola has said, is quite enormous, and it's not something that can be completed in 6 months, and certainly not by 46 people.